Here we find the star of our story, Gilda Griffin. Why, it was only 3 months ago that our dear Gilda was having fun with her friends on Nightmare Night when Pinkie Pie, the local prankster, thought it would be a good idea to surprise our dear Griffin with a jump scare. 3 months of rehabilitation later, and our pink party pony was hunky-dory, but Gilda was not. She's had such trouble controlling her emotions that she now finds herself in Canterlot Castle with who else but the Princess of Night, Luna herself. Luna explains to the Griffin that she must control her anger for the sake of ponies all throughout her living area. And Gilda, being Gilda, explains that it is her nature and that the princess should just cut her And it is at this point that the princess says that this is a Y7 show, and cursing is not allowed by standards and practices. The Griffin fumes, but the princess explains that everyone suffers from anger and impulse issues, and she just needs to learn restraint. Gilda sighs and says that there is no hope for her. Luna, however, says that there is, and says that she will show our dear Gilda that everyone struggles with anger and impulse issues, and it only takes a moment to calm down and control them. Thus, she touches her horn to Gilda's head, and the two of them go into the world of dreams. Poof! The pair find themselves in a nightmare world. What is going on? Why are ponies so mistreated in this realm? They reach out for the sky, crying, "Why? Why?" And Gilda looks about for the source of this strife, this terror, and she finds the owner of this dream, this not dream, this terrible nightmare, and she finds Twilight Sparkle, the disorganizer. And Luna turns and she says, "You see, Twilight dreams of evil herself. She dreams of giving in to her worst impulses and becoming a villain." And Gilda says, "Wow, the egghead?" And they turn to look. I wonder what kind of stuff she gets up to when she's feeling naughty. And the two of them prove closer, and they find the disorganizer wandering about Ponyville, disorganizing people's libraries, de-alphabetizing their DVD collections, making sure that their spices are organized not from coolest to hottest, but from hottest to coolest, then coolest again. What kind of evil would do this? Who would dare try to do such a thing? Oh God, she's reorganizing someone's shopping list so they get 2 dozen eggs instead of 1. Oh, the horror. Oh, the terror. Oh, woe betide the... Gilda looks at Luna deadpan. And Luna sheepishly shrugs her shoulders and she says, "Well, evil is a spectrum. Some people have lower standards than the rest. Let's just go to the next world." And Luna agrees. They just go to the next world. Poof! Within the realm of the next dream, they find Sweet Apple Acres, that bastion of down-home comfort. And there they find Applejack, lazily walking towards a tree, 2 baskets with covered lids on either flank. She peacefully and gently walks over to an apple tree and gently caresses its side. Gilda says, "Are you sure we're in the right place?" And Luna nods, and they both turn to watch the farm pony at her work. She turns around, lifts her hind legs, and bucks the entire tree over. Crack! Splosh! The tree falls and rolls down the hill, forlorn, its apples falling listlessly to the sides. As Applejack looks to the patch of earth where it once stood, she opens up her covered basket, and from it she pulls onions! For this apple pony dreams of a world in which she no longer has to pretend, in which she no longer has to hide that her one true passion is that layered vegetable, that treat to meat, that lovely underground beauty, the onion. And Gilda says, "Is she gonna plant that, or is she just going to lick?" Oh my God! Luna interrupts, and they're going now. They're leaving. They leave this world. Poof. Both of our conspirators take a moment to catch their breath, shell-shocked from the horror they have just seen, and they find themselves in Carousel Boutique, the pristine and pretty pony place owned by one Rarity. And Rarity herself stands among the mannequins and dresses and fabric, and she does a pristine pose, showing off her pristine alabaster fur and that luxurious violet mane. Everything around her sparkles. "Oh, it's that one," Gilda says, rolling her eyes. "I don't see what she could possibly..." And then Rarity races to the door, bursting it open and jumping headlong into a giant, hideous pit of mud and filth, her perfect, pristine fur marred by the muck as she laughs to herself and rolls about, sinking deeply into the quagmire of oozing muck. And she laughs, and she joys, and she writhes, and she raves within it, giggling deeply as she enjoys this new non-spa mud bath. "Oh," says Gilda. "Yeah. Oh," says Luna. And they both watch as Rarity sinks deeply into the muck, her horn poking out like a periscope from a submarine as she makes tiny combat noises. "Yeah, next." Poof! Notice there will be a slight intermission as they explore Pinkie Pie's dream, as to show you Pinkie Pie's dream would be to show you the true realm of madness. Please place whatever you would imagine as the single craziest thing you could possibly imagine in this spot while this banana dances jauntily across the screen. Okay, we good? We good. Onwards! Poof! Both our heroines look shell-shocked and utterly afraid. "It was full of stars," Gilda says. But now they have entered... What dream is this? A blue pony walks down the street, and Gilda recognizes him from flight school. "Soren?" she says. "Why are we in Soren's dream?" And then a rainbow streak comes from nowhere and clocks Soren right in the corner of his jaw, and the camera tastefully cuts away with a tooth flying outwards as sickening crunches and squelches hit our ears, and the princess and Gilda look utterly horrified as Rainbow Dash beats the ever-loving snot out of Soren. Yeah. Rainbow Dash has some rage issues. There was a reason that these two were friends. And, oh my god, Link shouldn't have been that way, oh my god, cutting away. 10 minutes later, we find Rainbow Dash a little more red in her coat than there was before, and Gilda looks on, not knowing her friend had this particular kind of dark side. But Rainbow grins maniacally, and then she leaps up into the air, and the view changes to space as she flies around and around and around and around and around and around until time itself reverses, and we find Soren unmassacred, walking gently down the street before squelch! Cut away! Poof! And then we find the dream of that most shy of ponies, that most reserved of equines. We find the dream of Fluttershy as they poof to that little cottage just outside of the Everfree Woods, and inside they see Fluttershy. Oh, Discord's there. Oh, what's he doing with his eyebrows? Fluttershy says, "Ravish me, O Lord of Chaos." And the princess and Gilda, now thoroughly ravaged by the sights they have seen on this dream tour, look even more horrified, or at least Gilda does. Luna seems kinda into it. But we're just gonna place a black bar here over this particular scene. Put a little censored word there as Fluttershy's dream goes down a path one wouldn't expect for such a reserved, butter-colored horse. And yeah, they're gonna go now. Poof! Here we find the dream of the captain of the guard, and his dream is what every father's dream is. To build an awesome robot to watch his kids so he can go off and crack open a cool one with the boys. Note, this is MLP. A cool one refers to soda pop and nothing else. And as he completes his machine, he stands up. It's alive! It's alive! And he turns it on, and it immediately just rushes out the door, and he's very confused as his tiny daughter, Flurry Heart, is in the other direction. And he turns and looks out the window to see the machine beating the ever-loving feathers out of Soren. Well, that was unexpected, he says. And then he just dreams he doesn't have a daughter and goes over to crack a cool one open with the boys. Poof! Gilda and Luna return to the palace, both of them looking harried for their journey through the dreams of the reservations of the residents of Ponyville. Gilda's eyes are sunken and sallow as she turns to the princess, and the princess beams and says, "Oh, Gilda Griffin, are you now cured of your avarice, of your wrath?" And Gilda gets a 1,000-yard stare and says, "I will be as good as you want me to as long as you never show me what goes on in you sick ponies' heads ever again." And Luna says, "Oh, well, that's a roundabout way to solve our problem, but hey, if it works for you, it works for me. But how are you going to redirect your aggressions?" Gilda says, "I'll find a way." 2 months later, Gilda comes home after a stressful day, and her smile immediately falters. She goes down into a dungeon deep below her cloud home and opens a door, and there we find her stress relief, her new outlet. Soren, pinned to the wall in chains, a gag in his mouth as Gilda smiles and clenches her claws. The end.